Hello, my name is Michael Povich, and we're here to do another segment of Oral Histories of Hancock County, a project where we interview people who have reached the age of 90, who live in Hancock County, have lived in Hancock County most of their lives, and they're here to share with us their memories and also tell us what it was like growing up in Ellsworth or in Hancock County. And today we are interviewing Joyce Johnston, and we're doing this because tonight's thing is through the courtesy of the Ellsworth American, and that's why this one's happening. So, hello, Joyce. How are you?
Fine.
How fine?
I'm here.
Okay, but you haven't been subpoenaed, have you?
No.
Okay. Joyce, when were you born?
1930.
So you reached the age of 91 on June 23rd.
That's right.
And were you born here in Ellsworth?
Have I what?
Were you born in Ellsworth?
Oh, yes. At home.
At home. And where was home back then?
I lived on Hancock Street.
Hancock Street, and that would be between...
Franklin and that's it. And then High Street.
But to the right of Pine Street, heading down towards Water Street. And your parents were who?
Osmond Merrill and Eugenia Walker Merrill.
Okay, and were they residents, were they natives of Ellsworth too?
My mother was. She was born in Ellsworth.
And where did Dad come from?
He probably was in Dover, Foxcroft, or else it was down in Turner, Maine, where some of the Merrill family started out.
So what brought him to Ellsworth, other than your mother maybe?
Well, he was just a young man.
Yeah.
And he hadn't even finished high school.
Oh.
And he came because my grandfather, Albert Merrill, came to Ellsworth, and I think it was to start a movie theater.
And was that the Derigo?
Yeah, that was the first one, and he had something to do with it.
Didn't the first Derigo get washed out with the flood of 23?
It could have.
But it had something to do with the fire of 33, though, didn't it?
Yes, that was burned then.
That was burned. A lot of people thought it started there.
Yeah.
So, Hancock Street. Now, you're growing up. Now, you were born in 1930, but you told me that you have a memory of the fire of Ellsworth in May of 1933 at 3 years of age.
Well, I would have been 3 in June.
Yeah.
But our house burned. And I remember my mother saying, "We've got to get out quick."
Yeah.
And she and I don't know, my father wasn't there. He was probably down on Franklin Street trying to save his place.
So where'd they take you after they out of the house?
Well, we right across the street first.
Yeah.
The house that's still there. And we sat on the glassed-in porch and I watched the house burn. I think that's why it stayed in my mind.
And because of the path the fire went, now, which side of the street you were on was whether you... And I know that my parents were living on Water Street, plus Mike's store and the house.
Yeah.
They lost everything, and that whole strip went down to where close to where the Dead River tanks were at that time.
Right.
So that was 3. So where did you move after you lost your home?
Well, we stayed with my grandmother for a while, and the next thing I remembered is my parents bought a house, and my grandparents, they all lived together. We were in an apartment house, up and downstairs. And then they bought the house in Ellsworth, which was the Emery estate, and it was vacant, and a large 3-story home. And so they fixed it up so we could move in. And all I remember is later playing out in the yard. It was 5 acres there. We had that whole area.
Now, where's the Emery estate? That was
it's on Park Street.
Yeah.
Where I live now, but not that house.
That was further up. And that was Judge Emery?
Yeah. Yes.
So, you had brothers and sisters?
Well, I just had one older brother, Dell. He was 5 years older than me.
That's Del Merrill.
Yeah, at that time.
Yeah. But more kids came.
Yes, my sister Constance, and she was 5 years after me. I was 5 years after Dell. And then Vicki came about 2.5 years.
So there was 5 of you.
4.
4.
Yeah.
And at some point, did you move to Franklin Street? Well,
Not until, I think that's when I was about ready to go to high school, somewhere between the 8th grade and high school.
and that's on Franklin Street where the Merrill Park is.
Yes, the father built a garage there, which he had in the beginning that got burned, and he built a larger building and had an apartment upstairs. And so we decided to move down there at that time. But I was close to high school age.
Now, your father was Osmond Merrill, also known as Ozzie Merrill. Yes, basically the founder of the various Merrill businesses, Merrill
Right.
Furniture Store, and Merrill Blueberries.
Yeah, correct.
And he also was an Eldridge High School graduate, wasn't he?
Yes, he was. Class of 22.
And what about your mother?
She dropped out her last year of school, and I can't remember what year that was. It must have been 25.
So you were basically
younger.
living in Ellsworth, so you could go to downtown Ellsworth at that time.
Yes, I can remember trying to go across the street to Newberry's and
Which is now what, J and R?
whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember I was only about, I was at the store there where Father was, the garage.
Yeah.
We weren't living there then, and I can remember carrying something. I fell down, dropped it, and my money, and I went running, and my father, somebody said, your little girl fell down the road. He was scared to death. I just got up and went home.
I remember bugging my father. I wanted to buy this freight station, this metal toy thing at Newberry's. And I kept hounding him. And I said, let me help you in the store. And he let me help him for about 5 minutes. He gave me the $2 or $3. Get out of here. And I ran up to Newberry's and crossed that same street you did. And, you know, that's... And what was Main Street like when you were growing up? What were the businesses that were there?
Well, everything was there then. You
Yeah.
know, there was clothing stores, and I don't remember just when the 2 grocery stores came in. They were later, like A&P and First National, but Smith's Market
Yeah,
was there, and there was another grocery store.
across the street.
Yeah, I can't remember what.
So, but if you went down Main Street, you look at some of the businesses that are still there, like, you know, you remember the Masonic Hall,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
you don't remember what was before the Masonic Hall, at the fire, the Hancock Hall?
Yeah, that burned in the fire. I was too young to
Yeah,
know that at the time.
and there was
And the Grand Theater.
Grand Theater was there. A&P is where John Edwards is. First
First
National is Riverside,
Riverside.
and up and down Main Street, and
On that side of the street, there was Eastman's clothing store, and
Perlin's,
Berlin's was down the
T.C.
other
Smith.
side, and Clements Hardware,
Clements, Alexander's Drugstore,
right?
Moore's
And
across.
Moore's on the corner.
Oh, we're going down memory lane. We got to stop that trip. So anyway, you were growing up. Eventually, you went to school,
Yes.
and you started school.
I was about 6 then, because you didn't have a primary before. You started first grade.
About 1936 or so.
And, about 6. And I went to Park Street Grammar for 8 years. And I could walk from the house I lived in then up in Park Street.
And of course, that school burnt down.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's there now?
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question.
A church.
Yeah. Emmanuel Baptist Church is right at that corner.
Right.
Uh,
And Ellsworth Builder Supply was there before.
But that went down too, sure. So 36 through 44. Was your family affected much by the Depression in the 30s?
Oh, I think everybody was.
Yeah.
I know my father worked on every job and had all kinds of things going. My grandfather the same.
Were they in Blueberries, Lynn?
I'm not sure what year they finally, that was just something that we had down in Turner where my
Yeah.
grandfather and knew blueberries. And my father had heard about some out there in down towards Hancock.
And when they get into the furniture business, when did that take place?
Well, that was when his store, he had a store on Franklin Street, which, I mean, it was a garage. He had a guy there that sold tires, another one that did batteries, and he sold, my father had Atwater Kent radios.
All right, yeah.
And Easy washing machines, whatever he could sell, I guess.
And what was the name of the business?
It was still Merrill's. It was Merrill, yeah, it was Merrill's then, and then he happened to be lucky and it was damaged furniture, like a whole trailer load.
So you were the
And
first Mardens to be in
I
Ellsworth?
guess. And he took a chance on it, and
Yeah.
then he had that, and he decided to go into something more like that. And then he went into new furniture, and he
Yeah.
had paint, like,
Was he alive when the furniture store moved up to High Street where it is now?
oh gosh, yes,
Yeah.
his idea. He bought that building. There was a second-hand furniture. Walker, was it Bill Walker? What was?
That I don't.
Well, anyway, he sold that. He had all kinds of stuff there, and he wanted to retire and sell the business. So Father bought his building first and moved his furniture, some of it there, but he still hung on to the Franklin Street store.
But not for furniture.
Yeah, he went into furniture and paint and things there then instead of.
Yeah, I remember being there when I was.
Yeah. Well, we lived in the apartment upstairs, and the business was downstairs.
So, tell me about Park Street School, 8th grade, 4th through 8th. How many students? How are the classes configured? Things like that.
There was the first grade, and then there was the second grade separate, and then the third and fourth were combined. And then upstairs in the building, there was the fifth and sixth was combined. And the 8th grade and the 7th grade had their own rooms.
So were the classes separate? Each grade had their own room?
Well, except for third and fourth,
Okay.
and what were the 5th and 6th?
How many teachers to keep it going?
Well, see, one teacher taught the third and fourth, and
Yeah.
there was one teacher for the second and third, but the rest had one. And Clara Mullins was the 8th grade teacher.
Did she eventually go work at Registry of Probate?
Her sister was in
Oh,
there.
was her sister?
She had a sister.
And then you had Grace Clausen.
Yeah, Grace taught 7th grade. I had Grace.
Sarah Russell,
Yes, she had 5th and 6th.
and that was around 1943, right?
I guess.
44.
Yeah.
And I had Sarah Russell in 1960, 61.
Well, I had her again in high school.
Yeah. And did other kids come to Park Street from some of your feeder schools?
Yes, Pine Street only went to the 6th grade, I think, and the Elsa's Falls Grammar School only went to the 7th grade. So those kids joined Park Street School.
Now, the Pine Street School is where? It's still there, the building's still
Yeah,
there.
the brick building's still there. It's right beside Sergeant's
Real estate.
real estate building.
But the Ellsworth Falls one is,
That eventually got torn down.
and I think it's replaced by the T-shirts
Yes,
and
yes.
that place.
Different building.
So what was your curriculum? Did you enjoy your curriculum?
Well, I took a college course in high
Yeah.
school.
No,
I
I'm
should've-
talking about grammar school.
Grammar school. Well,
We haven't got you out of grammar school yet.
grammar school, you had no choice.
You took them. Did you enjoy school?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Now, back in grammar school, today in grammar schools or elementary schools, like here EEMS, you've got all sorts of programs. You've got show choirs, you've got basketball
yeah.
teams, you've got girls sports, boys sports. Did you have those same kinds of services when you went to grammar school?
The only thing in the grammar school, the boys had a basketball team,
Yeah.
but there was nothing at that time for the girls.
Yeah, so what did you do after school?
Go home, play, I guess.
Okay.
Ride bicycles.
You made your own fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go. So then you went to Ellsworth High School, which was located where at that time?
Well, Bryant E. Moore Building.
Which is now the
where
Bryant E. Moore Senior Center. And you were there from 44 through 48.
Right.
And what course did you take in high school?
That's where I say I took a college course.
You took the college course, and
I took English and I took Latin, and you had chemistry and biology and history. I took American history and
were you a good student?
civics. Well, I passed everything.
Well, that doesn't mean anything. You were a
Well.
good student. Were you an exceptional student?
No, I was, I think I remember I got low 80, I got like 88, 89
Yeah.
for the 4 years, and I didn't want 90 because you had to speak, and I wasn't interested in speaking.
Well, I dug out a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I did, because I did some research on
Oh,
you.
good.
Yes, I did. And I don't know if we can get the camera here, but this is from the Jester of 1948.
I got that at home, yeah.
And you see down here, I think it says Joyce Merrill.
There's quite a list there, I think.
Okay. Anyway, and my first question is, they have Joyce Merrill. How did you get the nickname Joycey?
Oh, that was Lillian Katsavikas called me that.
That Lillian,
Sergeant.
huh?
Lillian Sergeant.
Lillian Sargent, Lillian Katsavikas.
Yeah, we were buddies.
Now it said here, my cross-examination,
Yes, yes.
versatile, clever, and cute as heck. Joyce is a queen from a rarely found deck.
I didn't write that.
Who wrote that?
I think it was Warren Davis.
And it looks like you were National Honor Society
2 years, yeah.
3 and 4, Student Council 4, DAR candidate 4, track 1, 2, 3, 4. What
I
what
won
was
my
your
sweater.
huh?
I got my
Get-
sweater.
I got one for debating.
Well, you had to have, I don't know, so many points for it.
So what was your event?
Well, it added up. I played basketball.
No, I mean your track. What did you do in track?
Oh, I don't know.
Just
We had like the broad jump. You had to throw
Oh, okay.
a baseball 120 feet and all this stuff to qualify.
Okay, moving on. Glee Club 1, 2, and 4. Class Vice President 4. Basketball all 4 years. JV cheerleader 2nd year. Varsity cheerleader 3rd and 4th year. Just a Fiesta 3. What is Just a
Well,
Fiesta?
That was just kind of a thing the high school kids we put on.
Yeah.
We'd have it down to City Hall. Well, we'd have music and singing and all kinds of
All
crazy
right.
stuff.
So what did you do to get credit for it?
Oh, probably singing, or I was directing it or something.
Well, of course you were.
We were the ones, Ruth and Lillian and I used to,
Ruth.
well, Ruth Doggan, she was our
Okay.
trail-along friend, and we got things going most of the class. Our boys in that class were very quiet and didn't do much, so the girls had to take over. So we did,
So you were women's liberation about 30 years before it became fashionable.
probably.
Good for you. Music appreciation.
Yeah.
Well, I'll appreciate
S.
that.
Gordon Emery was the music teacher, and he was very interesting. Listen to
And
that.
class gifts.
Yeah, had to think of something to give out. I also had junior speaking contest.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
won that, and I had to go to in Bangor and speak, and they had it at John Babb's.
Yeah.
And to be approved to go farther, this is for the spear contest, they called it.
Spear, sure. Yeah.
And we had Mr. Holmes was the teacher that helped
Yeah.
us with it. And I took just 2 minutes overtime, so that disqualified you when you say your speech.
I would have never been disqualified going over my time limit.
Oh, no, that wouldn't have bothered you.
No signals.
We had it at John Babb's, and all the nuns were sitting there in the audience watching it, so that didn't help any.
So, But you said you didn't want to do junior speaking, and that's why you didn't maintain a 90 average. Well, how did you do that?
No, junior speaking wasn't. This was
in graduation. Okay.
having to give a speech. Heavens no. I could sing a song, but I couldn't do this.
Okay, well, we're going to move on a little bit. Okay, so there was a fellow teaching school then. Name was Jack
No
Johnston.
kidding.
Jack Johnston.
Commercial teacher.
Commercial teacher. Did you have? Were you a teacher of yours?
No.
Now let's see.
I took personal typing, and I was the only one that got
Okay.
any Libby.
All right. So Jack Johnston was a teacher. He was born in 1914, so he was older than you.
1916.
1916. And I think you said you had a crush on him.
Well, I knew him. He used to work for Father off and on.
Oh, did he?
When he was a kid. So I knew who he was, so I was friendly with him.
Well, he more than friendly,
Yeah,
wasn't
I
he?
always thought he was a nice guy. But that's it. I'm
And
always a proper student.
Now you graduated from high school, and you left school as a Merrill, and now you're at Johnston.
Right.
Is there any coincidence between that Johnston and this Jack Johnston, who was a school teacher at that time you were in high school?
No, that was he
What
was the
happened?
guy.
What happened? You
Well,
married him.
Yeah, I guess I had a little crush on him, but as somebody said, he crushed back.
And a good time was had by all.
Yeah.
So you got married when, Joyce?
49.
So you were a child. You were young.
Yeah. Well, my birthday was the next week,
Yeah.
and I was 19.
And you were married for 60 years.
38 years.
But he passed on, didn't he? Oh,
Yeah, he died of leukemia.
oh God. Okay. But as a result of this marriage, you had a bunch of kids.
Yeah,
And,
4 wonderful children.
and who were they?
Well, Bruce was the firstborn,
Yeah.
and Brett was the second. Brett was born on Christmas, and then Lee, and then Judith was the last one, and she was born on Washington's birthday.
And you lost one of them, right?
Yeah, Bruce is my oldest.
And how many grandchildren do you have?
I have that written down. Let's see, I have five grandchildren living. I lost one. And I have 7 great-grands, and one we lost. So
Yeah.
it would have been 8.
So they're telling me we gotta wrap up a little bit. So you have, Merrills have all these business. I want to quickly talk about your siblings. Now, Deli Merrill, he had quite a life, didn't he? And he was a Marine,
Mm-hmm.
and he graduated from Elsa High School in what year?
Elsa's?
Yeah,
43.
and he fought in Iwo Jima.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came back. He was a basketball ref. He was president of Hudson College.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir, yes. And
He went into teaching because he was quite fond of Jack, and Jack had gone through most of that. And he went to Hudson. Jack went to Maine School of Commerce, which became
Okay.
Hudson. And he taught there at that time.
and what about your other Richard Merrill went to MMA, Maine Maritime,
Mm-hmm.
and what about the others?
And he dropped out the last year, some reason, and
Yeah.
went into the Air Force.
Yeah. So, what did you do? You did various jobs within the business.
Oh, yeah.
You worked in the apple business.
Well, Della and I used to have to go down on the farm where there were blueberries and help my grandparents when we were younger. And then he'd come back to, he'd go down and help that crop, and I'd come back home and help my folks.
And you
Yeah.
did the apples. You did a little bit of the,
Well, the apples were a little later.
yeah.
First blueberries, and there was also the furniture store and everything.
So Merrill's now, today, still has businesses. You got Bob Merrill runs the furniture store, and that's Deli's son.
Mm-hmm.
You're now in Solar Array out on the Washington Junction.
Yeah, that's on some of our, that's Bobby and me and Dickie got that going.
You still working in any of the businesses?
No, I've been retired now for 20 years. I worked till I was 68. And then I went up and helped on the apples with Brett
Yeah.
for 15, just because I like the apples.
They're good apples.
Yeah, but I am retired now, except, we got a lot of businesses. I'm head several of them. I'm the head chief, so I talk with Bob and we figure things out.
So I know you don't just stay home and sleep. So,
No.
so what are the activities you're involved in? Organizations and avocations, hobbies, things like that?
I've been trying to pull back. Well, I belong to church.
Congo Church?
First Congo Church. I sang in the choir for over 70 years. I finally retired from that.
Yeah.
Thought it was time. And I was in the Alumni Association.
Yes,
as
you were.
know. And I was 22 years. I've worked at Birdsacre. I'm a trustee at Birdsacre and ran the gift shop.
And you're still active?
Till the COVID start, when everybody shut down.
Yeah.
And we haven't opened really too much yet. But
Well,
I sort of pulled back from that now.
And what do you do at home?
I read.
Yeah.
Try to take care of my friend Barbara.
You like the Red Sox?
Yeah, mostly I watch sports.
Yeah.
And I follow because of my husband was a coach, and I played all sports, and I
Yeah.
love them. I watch all the baseball and football. I used to watch Celtics, but I'm kind of off on basketball.
What about Patriots? You Patriots fan?
I still am, but I'm also a Tampa Bay fan.
Oh, you're a Brady follower,
Darn
aren't
right.
you? Come on.
Yes, I am.
Good for you. So, your health is good?
Amazingly well for my age.
Well, you have longevity in your family.
I have. My grandfather on the Merrill side lived to be 97, and my mother lived to be 95.
Well, there you have it.
So I got to keep going.
Oh, listen, I want to thank you for sharing your life with us, because you add so much to the community. I've known you, and I know I wouldn't let you resign from the Ellsworth High School Alumni Association, even though you wanted to. And I'm glad you're active. I'm glad you have all your marbles running around.
As long as I can still drive.
And you still drive. And you got great family.
Yes, I'm very proud of my family.
And the community is blessed to have you and the Merrill family here.
Thank you.